All right, hello again. This is Ben Hitchcock Cross talking to you today. I've got the cans on, so that means we're actually going to watch a video together. I've got a probable cause hearing. Perkins versus Lakeside Bus Company is the next one on order here. I've got, like I said, I was trying to do some lunchtime ones, so I've got my liquid lunch here, and we'll sit through this and see what we learn here. I'll do the first half an hour with you all, and then hopefully you'll have enough of a synopsis on what's going on. So take it away. There is actually one thing I will say. The Milwaukee schools, 60s, 70s, at some point was declared to be segregated on the basis of race and geography. So we had this, we're not segregated on the basis of race, they're just neighborhood schools. Just happens that all the white kids live in one neighborhood and all the black kids live in another. Well, so we, at great expense, for the last 40 years, we've bused kids, including yours truly, all over the city of Milwaukee. I think I had a 40-minute bus ride at one point, good 90 blocks on the other side of town, uh, to Morse Middle School, just for example, not counting Golda Meir and whatnot. So those facts, that busing system has engendered several busing companies. And Lakeside is certainly a bus that I have frequented their, um, I don't know, services. I don't know, what do you call it? Their mode of transport. So traveling, I guess I should say. All right, take it away. All right, take it away, Calvin Fermin.
All right, we are now recording. Good morning. We are convened to hear the case of Denise Perkins versus Lakeside Bus Company, ERD case number CR 2023-00071. Today's date is Monday, July 1st, 2024, and the hearing is taking place by Microsoft Teams video conferencing software. My name is Calvin Fermin, and I am the administrative law judge assigned to hear this matter. The hearing was set to begin at 8:30 a.m. It is now 8:58 a.m. I'd ask that the parties please state their appearances, beginning with the complainant. Please state your name and the record.
I kind of think that was a dig.
Denise Perkins, Perkins.
Appearances for the respondent.
Is David Frienta. And the spelling of my last name is Frenzia. I also have with me Mark Jordan, Jordan, and Mike Goff, Goff, who are the company representatives as well.
All right. Remind me of their titles.
So he's got to be the corporate counsel, and they have to be the company representatives. I didn't realize that Lakeside Bus Company was so large. I mean, it seems here that they've got multi-state activities, they've got multi-state managers, regions, and then they've got just a Wisconsin region manager. Now, many people won't know this, but the city of Milwaukee has been busing kids around the city for ages because of a consent decree. And I was personally bused all over the place. Why? Because we had neighborhood schools. Well, it turned out that all the neighborhood schools were completely race based because all the neighborhoods were completely race based. So, um, out of that, and grew this busing system and this system for um, not just moving kids, but like specialty schools, magnet schools, charter schools, all of that eventually flowed out of that. Okay. Let's also keep in mind that a school bus driver is essentially an educator who's also paid to drive and must maintain order while safely navigating the roads. Um, which is something. So, all right. Shout out to the bus drivers.
Mr. Jordan.
One is the vice president for multi-state area, basically the upper Midwest, and then the other one is over Wisconsin, Illinois.
All right. To summarize the procedural history of this case, I note that the complaint was filed on January 6, 2023. An initial determination was issued on September 19, 2023, finding no probable cause to believe that the respondent may have violated Wisconsin Fair Employment Act. The complainant appealed that initial determination, so the matter was certified to a hearing on the issue of probable cause. A notice of hearing was issued by the Equal Rights Division on May 23rd, 2024, setting a hearing for July 1st, 2024. Today's hearing is therefore a hearing on the issue of probable cause to determine whether the respondent, whether there's reason to believe that the respondent violated the Wisconsin Fair Employment Act by discriminating against the complainant in terms or conditions of employment.
Oh, hold on. So with that, we know that this is an employment case, a Wisconsin Fair Employment Act case, as opposed to a fair housing or places of amusement or accommodation. So we've got that, and we'll get into what the bases are. We also know that it's a no probable cause, or what they call probable cause hearing, and the other one's a merits hearing. And let's be clear, if you want to sue, the guy down the street for, I don't know, breaking your fence or something, you just go right to court. You want to sue almost the corporation of whatever wants to sue the state of Wisconsin, they just go right to court. But for workers on discrimination, it's different. And there's all of these rigmaroles that you have to go through. Same thing with back wages and whatever else. You've got to jump through all these extra hoops here. So what they do is they have an investigator investigate the case to determine whether or not there is probable cause to believe that this discrimination happened. What does that mean? We've talked about this before. Probable cause, somewhere around 25%, pretty low, pretty low. Probability, not a certainty, not even a 51%, which is what you need to win. It's pretty low, but it has to be in the statute. It says it has to be corroborated essentially by some kind of evidence. Of course, that can be circumstantial, but it has to be some kind of evidence. And there is, I believe, an unwritten rule that as the complainant, the worker's word isn't good enough on its own. Now, the worker can establish facts and so forth, but just saying they discriminated against me or even they treated me differently or other things like that, you're going to need to have some more facts than I'm the only black person you need to have something to back it up. That's not what the law says. That's what I, again, believe the practice is.
Because of age, discriminating
Okay, we
against the
got age.
complainant in terms or conditions of employment because of color, discriminating against the complainant in terms or conditions of employment because of disability, discriminating against the complainant in terms or conditions of employment because of sex, terminating the employment of the complainant because of age, terminating the employment of the complainant because of color, terminating the employment of the complainant because of disability, and terminating the employment of the complainant because of sex. The complainant bears the burden of proof to prove probable cause to believe that the unlawful discrimination occurred and shall present her case first. The respondent will then present its case. The opportunity to present rebuttal proof will then be given to both parties.
I'm wondering if because it doesn't seem like there's probable cause on the issue of age discrimination for termination. So I'm wondering, therefore, if she got age discrimination probable cause there. I will also say that in general, you don't want to shoot for the moon when you're filing claims here, because if it's age discrimination, it's age discrimination. If you don't know, you don't know. That's okay. Then you go with what your theories are. But in general, if you're going to prove something and you have the burden of proof, you basically want to say it's one or two things. It's not literally everything. And it kind of undermines the point to say it's age, race, and whatever, unless you've got a good statement saying that we don't want any, you know, old black females around. Then why not put them all in there? Okay. I'm also saying at the probable cause stage, okay, that's what it's for. It's a screening mechanism. But once again, if you're trying to convince somebody, you want to focus in on the good parts. In my opinion, shooting the moon is not always the best idea.
The parties may provide opening statements and closing arguments. A party wishes to use post-hearing briefs in lieu of closing arguments may request so by motion. Are there any items to deal with before we begin testimony? All right. Go ahead.
I have none, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Perkins, would you like to make an opening statement? An opening statement is not you giving testimony necessarily, but it does provide a framework for what you think the testimony will show. You're not required to do so, but sometimes people find it helpful to give that high-level sort of summary of what's to come. Would you like to do so?
Yes, I would. Well, I just want to say that I am a very honest person, and it really bothers me when someone lies on me. I did not walk away from my job. I was told not to come back. And you will see this in the police video. The police told me they don't want you in there. And that's all I got to say. And I hope I prove my case that I'm not the person they make me out to be. And I was abused at this job, mentally and physically, with these with what happened.
Let me just pause that. Jeez Louise, I'm putting the cough button on here. So I didn't think that was awful. I mean, she said, hey, look, there was a police video and it's going to contradict them. Go, you got it there. Now, sometimes it's enough to say that they're liars. I mean, in my opinion, the Seventh Circuit and other, that's what it says. If you can show that their pretext is a lie, then you're fine. That I don't think is so much the issue. I think it's, you still need to say something about why it's race, why it's sex, why it's disability, why it's whatever. But so I didn't hear that. That's my critique.
Mr. Francia, would you like to make an opening statement?
I think we'll just reserve our opening statement at this time if we can.
All right.
So that means he'll
All right,
do it at the opening of
Ms.
his
Perkins,
time.
who's your first witness?
Cecilia Butler.
All right. Ms. Butler, I note that you are here by phone and not by video.
That's correct.
Which means that we cannot see you. Mr. Frenzia, we didn't discuss that prior to the start of this hearing, but I'm not sure if you have any concerns or objections that you want to place on the record.
I mean, I think that you've noted that she's not appearing by video. So we have to take her at her word that she says that she is who she says she is, and that we can't see her. But I don't have any issue with having her proceed in this manner.
All right. Ms. Butler, if you can please raise your right hand.
Yes, I am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right. You may lower your hand. If you can please start with your name. Say your complete name and spell your last name, please.
Cecilia Butler, Butler.
All right. Ms. Perkins, you can ask questions of your witness.
I would just like to, Cecilia, to talk about all the comforting and consoling she had to do for me. She helped pay my rent, and I just want her to tell what kind of mindset I was in when I was going through the situation. Go ahead, Cecilia.
Okay, well, I can certainly attest to the fact that when she got the job, you know, she was happy. It was something different that she'd never done before. She's always been a good driver over the road, and she liked driving in it. And I thought that's a good choice for you.
We should all keep in mind that in this forum, there are no emotional damages. So her feelings aren't going to be that relevant.
And it's something, she loves kids, so she loved her job, went to it every day. And then, even when the times were hard, she just, I had to comfort her quite a bit, because a lot of times she was experiencing things that sounded so, incredulous, that just, it broke my heart to hear it. And I know Denise to be a kind and loving, giving person. And, she's always been someone that was dependable in every sense of the word. I mean, we have been good friends for over 30 years. And so I just found myself, I felt bad too, because it made me cry, because she was, she was having a lot of pain, and the steering of the bus, she complained quite a bit about that. And I would say, well, Denise, just talk to him, but you can only, you ask for what you want and what you think you need to be safe and to keep those kids safe. And I mean, there were noises. The bus made noises. The doors wouldn't open. She would complain about the most bizarre things. And I just found that, I'm just thinking of when I grew up as a child, how, we had same bus driver for grade K through 12. So Mr. Cole I don't know if he got injured from the bus, but driving all day is difficult anyway, sitting like that. But this woman had to deal with doors that wouldn't open, steering wheels that didn't steer well, brakes that were, she just afraid that sometimes the brakes, weren't going to hold, and she would get a bus and it would be okay. And then that one, she wouldn't have that one, and she'd get another one, just pretty much sound like a lemon to me. This is, for lack of a better term. I just know what I was told by my friend, and she wouldn't make things up. I believe whatever she told me.
Some
But
judges would
it got
exclude this.
where she was afraid to even make a file report. She felt like she was being, ostracized for speaking up. And she was speaking up on behalf of the bus company, to ensure that they, the integrity of their machinery was operating well. But she felt like, she just didn't feel like she could speak up without being, reprisal. So I've been in situations where I've been afraid. I've been, felt like, being a woman, a Black woman, that I had to shut up or I would lose my job. So you just kind of, you work hard to just show them that you're going to show up, but just help me. I'm doing my job, doing the best I can. Help me, help you keep these children safe. That's basically what her goal was, to, make sure that she got those children to and fro safe. But all the complaints about the equipment that she was given, lack of heat, it's just burning up. Buses have never been the most comfortable thing, school buses, but I tell you, I wouldn't want my child to be on a bus like that. A lot of times, they were just some very dangerous situations. And then when she, her job went away, I supported her emotionally and financially. As a friend, I've been here for her like she's always been here for me. So
What does she mean by her job went away? Is that just a euphemism or for fired or what?
I know in my heart that she would never make up these things. No one would, assassinate, who's going to shoot themselves in the foot with their employer? You go to job, you need the job, you want the job, you like the job, but at some point it becomes difficult to endure attacks on your character, your person, feeling threatened just by going to work, and ultimately having to take the police because she was afraid. She said someone had threatened her with a gun. Denise doesn't make up that. That's not the kind of that's just not that's not Denise. She wouldn't say things and create these this ridiculous circumstances and just create it. These are things that she was feeling, and people's feelings are their own, especially when they can see what they see. And just
So you might think this is not going anywhere, but nobody's objecting, and the ALJ is not cutting them off, which is, I mean, we can think of several ALJs we could all name that would have cut her off. So that's pretty interesting.
if there's a work atmosphere that's toxic like that, those are typically the kind of things that do happen. Threats, innuendo, being ostracized, whispering when you walk in the room, whispering when you walk out of the room. Those are things that she described to me, and I believe it because I've been through similar circumstances. Not that extreme where someone actually threatened me with gun violence, but nonetheless, it was mentally cruel what transpired, what I was hearing from my friend. She had had other jobs before. I didn't never heard this kind of stuff. So I'm telling you, whatever, if she said they did it, I believe her. There's no reason to make up such things. We're at a point in our life where we just want to, we just want the other side of life. We just want to enjoy the time we have and take care of our health. And but when you are, when people treat you with such utter disrespect that they don't even care if you're, your arms, steering a bus that, it was just, the stories went on and on and on. And then when she didn't get to come back and they didn't want her there anymore, and she just felt threatened, and she did what she felt she had to do to take care of herself. And so nobody just ups and quits a job. And then she got injured. So no mercy for her, even when she got injured. But, it's not surprising because of the things I had heard, on ongoing concerns that she was sharing with me. I was just a listening ear and a supportive friend. And that's all I could be. And then, again, financially, when she couldn't go back there, they, it's just, this is where we are. And I know she just wants to.
Medical condition, Cecilia. How I stayed in the house almost a whole year.
Yeah. Your knees, the injury you had.
Mental.
Oh yes, I think I just described that. Crying and frustration and someone that when it's like you're crying in the wilderness, nobody listening, nobody cares, and you're out here and I know Denise, you were out there doing your darndest to just to deal with the circumstances and to keep that bus, whatever equipment you were given. I know you did your best to upkeep it and keep the children safe. And I just my heart goes out to you. I just I don't understand what is so hard to believe when a person is hurt that they are hurt. Nobody picks up. I imagine there are people that do, but there's no reason for a woman that's on her own, just solely dependent on herself, to create such. No one would do that. You have been a hardworking person all your life, very industrious. And I can attest to that.
It's just,
I know people that you have, worked with and worked for, and this is just unfortunate that this is what you're going through at this point in your life because you were injured by this company. That's my opinion. Because nobody calls and cries and makes up things. Nobody. That's ridiculous. I guess there are those who do, but that's not Denise Benton Perkins that I know. But yeah, I know that all the calls and the sleepless nights and up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning on the phone. I mean, we have had 8-hour conversations to keep Denise intact, just to for encouragement and comfort and moral support and mental health support. Many times I wanted her to come and, stay with me. I invited her many times, just to leave and come stay with me, come down south and we'll just stay with me, But she wanted to keep her job, try to work through things, and give the company the opportunity to do right by her. But she just felt just abused and just disrespected in the most despicable manners.
So again, I mean, there's no problem with the hearsay. There's no problem. It corroborates what she's feeling. It's just it doesn't get to the evidence of what the management did, and someone should have prepped her a little bit better.
But I know, being a woman and a Black woman, how that can feel. So, and these big companies, they've got their lawyers and their big titles, but at the end of the day, we're all human, we're all frail, and you have to be careful how you treat people, because it does come back on you. And one little woman, she just wants justice, and that's what she's entitled to. And was dismissed from her job and said that she quit. No, she wouldn't do that. She was working because she needed the job. But you can't, if your knees and hands don't work and you're afraid, it's hard. It makes you sick. There's a lot of evidence about how mental health and stress on jobs is one of the number one issues with people and cancer and health. I know,
for the fact that the
30 years.
complainant is asking no questions, just giving pretty good testimony.
A lot of this stuff is there's a lot of information about people and job stress, because we spend most of our time,
what she's
a lot
saying.
of our time on our job. So, my friend is a honest woman. She's a hardworking individual. She would never, ever make up that's just not even in her personality. So, I mean, I don't know what more I can say. I mean, I
All right.
like I say, I've known her for 30 years, over 30 years. And she wouldn't make up a story to call me all hours of the night, but that's what friends do. They support each other. She supported me as well. Fortunately, I was not threatened in that manner. And I know she didn't make that up. So I'm not going to even, I don't doubt that what she said, that it happened to her the way she said it.
All right, Ms. Perkins, you have other questions for this witness?
I just want her to tell you how she was encouraging me to go to the doctor for my mental health, because she said she believed that I had PTSD, and I didn't understand that type of mental health. I didn't understand it, but I never would. I didn't never just stick it out. I already had depression.
All right, Ms. Perkins, I'm going to stop you there. You're going to have an opportunity to testify. Right now, you can ask her that. That's fine. But now you kind of dovetailed into your testifying. So if you want her to speak to that, you can say, "Can you speak to?"
Speak to how I was afraid about my apartment. How I dealt with being in my apartment. Cecilia. Speak to them about how I was. I had trauma being inside the apartment.
Well, yeah. I mean, you had a lot of there was a lot of insomnia going on, and so you weren't getting rest. I know that. I want to be specific.
What'd you say?
I know. I feel like you had a nervous breakdown. I'm not a certified counselor, but I mean, I know that you went through a lot of trauma mentally. Yes, crying and yeah. I mean, what do you mean your apartment? You were at home all the time.
I was afraid that someone was going to break into my apartment. I thought they was something to me. Remember, at the school, I thought they was trying to do something to me because they was voting to bring a gun.
Oh yeah. She was feeling threatened everywhere she went, like somebody was following her. She felt like she needed to take things around with her, papers and things, so in case nobody would get them, that kind of stuff. Oh yeah. And just that's why that's hence you took the police with you, because that's the I guess that's the ultimate protection that one can feel, is trying to get officers of protection from officers of the law. I mean, I know what you went through. I mean, I'm not a trained psychologist, but you had a breakdown. I don't know what. I did encourage you to get some counseling, because
There you go.
that's what they're encouraging on a lot of jobs today: mindfulness and meditation and just different things, tools to help you cope. Because even when you're not, it's hard to work with people that are treating you like that. But when you got to eat and you keep going into it, I know it harms you.
Well, that's true.
I've been through that. It
That's
harms
true.
you, but you have to learn how to cope. And so that I encourage her to get some counseling so she could cope.
Wow.
I said, you always have choices. You're going to have to either,
Calvin Firm is very
stay there
expressive.
and work through it, or, you'll have to leave. But she never would. She just kept going and did all she could. But when she got injured, well, it's hard to work when you've got a broken knee and your arms are, I guess, carpal tunnel from what seemed to be the most pitiful equipment, those buses. I'm not surprised, though, because there was something on the news about that company not a few years back, and the way, it's that's why we're here today. Not because you want to be. It's because you're here because they forced you into this position. I know you wouldn't shoot yourself in the foot and put yourself through the kind of poverty, practically impoverished. I can't tell you how many thousands of dollars. Being a friend, I don't keep up with that, but I know on a monthly basis, for the last
She does.
over almost 2 years, particularly in this last year, I've just anywhere from $800, $500, just because she could not, she can't work. She couldn't, they just kicked her to the curb and then don't want to pay her for what they've done to her. I don't think that's right. I know it's not right. Nobody wants to go up. It takes courage to go up against a company. This is a major company, and they've been around for quite a while. I'm sure they have the respect of people in their community and those leaders. They probably know people in politics there, whatever. But we're we're all people. We're all important.
What's this, Eric?
Everyone's important.
All right, Ms. Perkins, any other questions?
No.
Alrighty. Then Mr. Frenzia can ask questions if he wants. Mr. Frenzia.
Yes, I just have a few. Ms. Butler, are you employed by anyone?
Yes, I'm employed.
And by whom are you employed? Who's your employer?
Oh, I'm retired from the state of Tennessee.
Okay, so you're currently retired then?
Yes, from the state of Tennessee.
Okay.
And I work.
Uh-oh.
You're currently working as well?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. Who do you work for?
I work for International Paper.
Okay.
Like, what's their arch rival in the bus
And
business?
I know that you said that you've been friends with Ms. Perkins for over 30 years, and you sound like a very good friend to her.
Yeah,
I take it that you don't live in the Milwaukee area, though, correct?
correct.
Okay.
I stated that I asked her to come live with me down south in Tennessee.
Okay.
Did you not hear that?
Now, no. Well, you said you come down south. I just didn't know where. That's why I asked the question. So you were never employed by Lakeside Buses, correct?
Correct. I'm a character witness.
I understand that. I just,
No.
like I said, I'm just asking these questions to flesh out the record, okay? And you've never been to Lakeside Buses. You've never been on the property?
No.
And for all the events that you referenced, the only source of information you have is, in fact, Ms. Perkins. You didn't witness any of these things that she says occurred, right?
I heard it. I just know that she had trauma from working there. No, I didn't see her when she went to get her stuff and they had it done. No, I didn't see that.
Okay.
I didn't hear them threaten her.
No, I understand. I just, wanted to make sure that I was clear on what you had said. So I don't have anything else, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Perkins, is there any other question you think you need to ask following those questions? And you don't have to, but I'm just giving you an opportunity if you feel like there's something that needs to be addressed.
No.
All right, that's going to conclude Ms. Butler's testimony. I think we previously agreed that she can remain on the line. Ms. Perkins, who's going to be your next witness? Is it you or is it one of your other individuals?
Allow for Yolanda Bishop.
There you have it. That's part 1 of 4 of the probable cause hearing of Perkins v. Lakeside Buses there. Well, we'll hope that there'll be more exciting testimony. I do want to hear about what happened with the police. I hope they have the video. I really hope they have the video. All right, stick with us. We'll keep you informed.